Well, good day, Mr. Bobby. It's a special edition of 97 Octane Hockey. We got a Heritage Classic outdoor game. What every kid dreams of playing is a pond hockey game where you get paid to play it. You ever played an outdoor game for real, for real?
No, no. Once a bunch of us farm boys way back in the day, we challenged the local town team just to an exhibition game on the outdoor rink over in our community, and they accepted it. So we did play an outdoor game, but it was an exhibition game. But it was kind of fun to have a bunch of ragtag farm boys challenge an actual bantam team then way back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, this concept, I'm glad that it originated in Edmonton because I love the idea. Um, I hope that one day we see a game, played at Lake Louise. I think that'll be the icing on the candy. I know they tried the one at Lake Tahoe, and from a visual perspective, that was pretty cool. I know it's hard to get fans at an event kind of like Lake Louise, but from a visual standpoint, an afternoon game in set in the mountains there would just be unreal.
But same thing there, though. You wouldn't be able to play it on the actual lake itself. Like you'd have to build a rink, ice surface close by. So that, like Lake Tahoe, same thing. They couldn't do it actually on the lake itself. The logistics doesn't work out properly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, if you can't do that, then Lake Louise becomes a little curious because I guess you could build a rink on the ice. On top of the ice, you probably could do that. Just because the visuals there, in that setting, I think it's the Chateau Lake Louise is just unreal.
No, like even if you couldn't do it at Lake Louise, just even in the mountains somewhere there, even somewhere close, like even the Canmore area. I mean, just to have that background of the mountains would be phenomenal. And there's no better mountains than the Rocky Mountains.
No, it's just pristine. Some strangers asking, how did the three of you get in that photo shoot? Well, we kind of snuck in. Yeah, they didn't see us coming. We just snuck right in.
I've been invisible all my life, so nobody takes notice of me.
Kevin saying it's a great day for hockey.
Oh,
yeah.
True.
This game, it couldn't come at a better time for the Oilers. They're really, really struggling, and blame is being sent all around. I think what's been demonstrated so far this season is it's not easy to win in the NHL. I think that's something that's evident here. I think fans don't want to hear it, but it's not an easy league to win games. It really isn't, and the margin of error between wins and losses sometimes, excluding the Vancouver game, is really tight. Like we play a pretty good hockey game, but a couple of mistakes and it's over. So I think this game couldn't come at a better time for this team. McDavid looks to be back in, which is good news. Seeing him yesterday skating around, it looked like he was shot out of a cannon again. So, I'm excited for this. In the midst of our record, I think this is Christmas morning for Oilers fans in a way. And I'm only going to see about the first 2 periods, and I got to go to a men's league game of my own, and so I'll tape it and watch the third. But I'm excited for this one.
So first off, you're bang on the money, Kevin. It's a great day for hockey. I also think because of the way the season has started for both organizations, the Oilers and the Flames, it's been, the focus has been on the negative. This now we have something positive to focus on. We got an outdoor game here. Everybody's gonna get ramped up. Everybody's gonna be energetic for this. Right now we need this moment just to put the smiles back on everybody's faces and playing for the 2 points is extremely important for both organizations. But just now, like, go out there, have some fun on the outdoor ice, and then go get those 2 points. So many storylines, though. Connor McDavid, like you mentioned, looks like he's back. I think we all noted that he's playing on the wing on that front line. What's kind of your thought on that you see him on the wing there, Dursa?
That excites me. Him being the guy that gets to leak out a little early, catch passes from Draisaitl in full flight, like that actually really excites me. I think that might add a new dimension. You know, you unchain him and let him go, and like, look out, defenseman, man, you guys are in trouble. Fogel's in trouble on right wing, trying to keep up and and stay with him to be an option for him to pass to. But man, and I like the idea. We were talking about a little bit in our heavy hockey group chat,
Yeah.
but I like the idea of Warren Foegele getting a bump up. I think he's earned it. He's done all you could ask this season. Him and Holloway on many nights, there's not much you could fault with either one of their games. Fogel's a little bit more of a veteran guy, and right now the guy is shooting the puck like he's launching lasers and sniping, which is something Holloway's not doing. But I think that'll come for Dylan Holloway. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see what Foegele can do up there. Hopefully it goes well for him, and they find something here.
So Fogel's doing what we were hoping Yamamoto would be doing, would be shooting the puck, right? So Fogel's taking advantage of this being the top six by putting pucks towards the net. So he's not passing up shooting opportunities, which is what we need up there right now. Pucks on net. Let's see what happens. It's funny though, because when the Fogel first made his debut this season on the top six, all of us, even in the heavy hockey chat, there were thinking like, "Whoa, that's a bit of a surprise." Like he's a grinder, mucker, does some secondary scoring. He's a solid third line player. He does have some second line potential, but he's a solid third line player. But this dude has taken advantage of this situation, and 100% agree with you. He has earned the right to at least get an audition up there with McDavid and Draisaitl because of the fact that he's been so focused on getting pucks on the net and just generating chances. He's won so many puck battles along the boards to create opportunities. So good on Warren. One thing you touched on a bit on the in our heavy hockey chat, Dursa, was that you kind of like the idea of them maybe saving McDavid a bit on his oblique by not having him take faceoffs. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a good observation, and I wouldn't be surprised though if we see Leon basically line up at center, and once the draw is taken, McDavid goes back in that into that middle zone.
Yeah, I still like the idea of him not having to be quite as defensively responsible, letting him go. Yeah, like Leon's a good two-way center too, and can defend well. I just like the idea of Connor not having to put as many miles on coming back. And
do you think though that he reins that in? Like, he is just a natural free-flowing player. Like, he's that guy. I don't know if you can put a halter on him and go, here, you need to stay in this area kind of thing, and stay in this lane and do your best or jump up when you can. This is the guy whose strength of his game is he uses the whole ice, and he's just a free-flowing player. Like, I don't know how you rein that in. I don't know how he shuts that switch off and says, okay, I'm a winger.
Yeah, he gets a 15-foot head start, basically, is my thought process, like on offense, because you're closer to the blue line as a winger. So
he gets a 15-foot head start when he's 15 feet behind the
plate. 2 strides and he's 15 feet. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Your thoughts with them going back to Stewart?
nobody's really said this is my net and you're not having it back. So yeah, I think you keep going back and forth until somebody um, takes the reins and doesn't let them go.
I feel like out of the 7 games we've had now, we've had good goaltending in 2 of them. Like Jack Campbell was lights out in the 6-1 win against Nashville, and then I thought Stewart played well in the 3-0 loss to the Rangers. Um, they put in good 60-minute games there. Like there was that game where with where Campbell played really well in Philly, and then lets in that shaky goal that kills all momentum. Then there's another game where Skinner makes that error when he played
Right.
so well leading up to that mistake, and then played so well after that mistake. But that mistake was so huge that just overshadowed that whole game. And so we haven't gotten 60 minutes out of our goal except for 2 games. So I'm with you. I thought Skinner deserved this start because he did play well against the Rangers. He did give us a chance. You're not going to win games by not scoring any goals, so that's not on Stewart. And he kept us in there for that whole game.
I don't think our goaltending has, I don't know if you would say outshone, but been more of an Achilles heel than kind of what we do in the neutral zone.
No, it's a byproduct of our whole defensive game right now, really. The goalies haven't been able to bail us out as we'd like them to be, but we can't hang it on these guys. Our goalies also haven't been our worst players on a night yet, neither. Uh, Even on nights where they haven't been the greatest, but we just haven't come up with that save and a defensive breakdown. So, like you said, I say we go back and forth until somebody steps up. Campbell did get a back-to-back start after his stellar play against Nashville that game, and then so he earned that back-to-back start. And now Skinner, who played so well against the Rangers, earned this next back-to-back start as well. And you keep rewarding these guys if they give you a solid game, and until somebody says, you know what, this is my net, and I'll be damned if you get me out of here.
Yeah, no, fully agree. So I'll go through the lines
Yeah.
yesterday at the outdoor practice. So it was Draisaitl in between McDavid and Fogle, like we mentioned. RNH centering Kane and Hyman. McLeod with Dylan Holloway and Connor Brown. Janmark, Ernie, and Ryan on the wings. Nurse Cece, and once again Ekholm and Broberg, which didn't last more, I think, than a shift or two in the other game. And Kulak, Bouchard, Desharnais were kind of bringing up the rear with Skinner in the starters net. And yeah, be interesting.
I'm calling it now. Broberg's going to have a big game. Broberg's going to have he's going to step up this game.
What does a big game for Philip Broberg mean?
Man, I think number one, he needs to simplify it in our defensive zone for sure. He seems to be rushing the puck a little bit, like making plays, forcing plays, and also just getting that confidence where one of his strengths is skating. We have yet to see him really skate that much, like leading a rush or quarterbacking a rush. I want to see like 1 or 2 of those this game where it's like, oh, this is what Broberg brings to the table.
Some stranger says still waiting for Brown to get going here.
Yeah, we all are. And here's the thing too. Like, I know there's more focus on him now because he's reaching the 10-goal mark here. Now all of a sudden some of his bonuses will kick in, right? But the Oilers, Jay Woodcroft preached from the start that they're going to be patient with Brown. He's coming off a huge surgery and rehab process. This is all going to be part of the process. It's going to be part of the growing pains where, okay, any day now, any game now, Brown's going to make that step up. And so I think it's too early to give up on him. I'm as frustrated as anybody is watching him right now because he did have such a good camp and a good preseason. Of course, that just shows you how different the regular season is once it gets going. The Oilers were prepared to pay him all these bonuses when they signed him. So I don't think that's the deal or that's the issue here. We got to ride it out here and wait for him to break out. Here's the problem, though. We let him go. He goes somewhere else and scores 20 goals. Like, we're going to need these 20 goals from him.
Yeah. Last night, too, Raphael Lavoie down in Bakersfield. Gordie Howe hat trick. I think he had 2 goals, an assist, and a fight where he he was chucking bombs. I was proud of him. I don't know if that's really in his repertoire, but he didn't really look out of place when he was doing it. So, he's somebody to keep an eye on. And since Sam Gagne's started playing games down there too, I think he's got 5 points or something in 3 games. So he's starting to round into form. So these guys might kind of make things interesting and make the Oilers make some decisions. Do they need both of them? Because it seems like when Rafi's putting points up on the board, a lot of the times it's Sammy that's finding them. And I mean, it's a beautiful cross ice play where Rafi it looked like Brett Hull all alone in the quiet area on the left hand side, and Sam rings a pass, 60 feet across the ice to him, and bam, in the net.
Well, Lavoie's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's going down there and he's showing the big guys that I'm here to play. Whenever you're ready, give me a shot because I'm here to play. And that's what you're supposed to do in the minors. Wasn't he the last cut? Pretty much the last cut at a training camp.
Yeah.
At least out of the forward squads, right? And so he's been on the precipice the whole time. And I think most of us kind of agreed that. Well, I myself will say that I thought the only mistake the Oilers actually made at a training camp was sending Lavoie down and keeping Ernie. I understood what they were trying to do because Holland made it clear that he got Ernie in hopes of replacing what Costin had been for us last season. So there was still hope that Ernie would find that part of his game here early on, get his feet under him, start crashing some bodies around. And he's shown moments, but like maybe, 10, 15 seconds a game where he's showing moments. Oh, that's what he can do. He has been consistent in that area as we had hoped he'd be.
I'm going to stop you right there. He doesn't have the hands to do what Costin could do. Well, I'm sorry.
I think Holland meant more on the physical side of it, right? Like we need a guy to turn momentum with crashes and bangs.
Yeah, he can bring a physical edge, but he just doesn't have the hands that Costin had. I mean, Costin could snipe.
Yeah.
Lavoie has more of that. Yeah, Lavoie has more of the snipe ability, and if he can bring the physical edge, then that's an upgrade over Ernie. Kevin says glad Bush is down in the pairings. He's been giving up too much. Yeah, he had a few rough games. You still need him to find himself. I think he's got the ability to make the nice outlet passes once he recovers the puck, but it's just getting to that point. If you're recovering pucks out of the back of your net, it doesn't matter what you're doing offensively. It's not helping your team. You're just treading water, and he needs to do a little bit more than just tread water out there.
I think. Well, here's the thing with Bush is a bit of an anomaly right now because we're all expecting him to take this step up, and again we're going to preach this whole theme about it. It's still early. Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
So 7 games. In 7 games, I've actually thought Bouchard had 4 good to very good games, really. The only problem is the 3 games that he didn't play well, he played like absolute shit. And those are the ones that stand out because they were absolutely atrocious games. Some of the worst games that any of our D-men have played this season. So that's what we remember. We tend to overlook a lot of the positive Bush does bring to the table, but we are, and rightly so, we are expecting more from him.
Yeah. You can't deny what he can do, almost a one-shot wonder, but you got to shore up your own end too.
Oh, I mean, 100%.
I mean, Paul Coffey was a wonderful offensive defenseman, and sometimes was a defensive liability too. So got to be careful not to be too hard on him. But if Paul Coffey's ending the night in a minus, it's a rarity. He'll give up some, but he definitely outchances what he gives up. So,
well, the thing is,
nice to have Charlie Huddy as a partner to cover some of that up, though.
That's true. The thing is, though, I thought actually Dash made a pretty good point there on the Oilers live show on EST there the other day, where he talked about some of these elite offensive defensemen that weren't necessarily defensive liability because of their foot speed. So you look at a guy like Coffey, who was so quick and up the ice, but he was able to circle back and be quick back. Bobby Orr is probably the greatest offensive defenseman ever, but yet he's also quick enough to come back and broke up many plays. You look at a guy like Erik Karlsson, who's got the foot speed to come back. Cale Makar, probably the
Right.
best skating defenseman there is out there. They got the foot speed to come back and make defensive plays. Bouchard doesn't really have that kind of level of speed, so that makes his defensive lapses, loom even larger because he's just not there. He's not in position for it.
The one thing I would say though is it's not very often you see Bouchard going end to end. I mean, a lot of times he's shooting the puck from
That's true.
the hash marks and back. He's not taking it like Messier to the net like some of those other D you mentioned will do. So
yeah.
I don't want to cut him that much slack on the backtracking because you're not that far up. So control your reads a little bit better, know when to go and when not to go. And I'm saying that to Bouchard and Darnell Nurse because that, the one play where five of us were inside the circles was not good. So,
yeah, that's a rough one. And that's another one. That's another guy who really needs to find his game here because he is our leader back there. And he has been, besides Desharnais, who I think has extremely struggled so far this season. I think Nurse has probably been our worst D-man, to tell you the truth, so far this year when it comes to consistency.
Desharnais looks timid to me this year.
Yeah, wow.
You find that?
You know what? I find him timid. I'm not going to disagree with you. I find him timid in front of our net. Absolutely.
Yeah,
He's not even tying anybody up. He seems to be fine when he's battling along the boards. He seems to be fine. But in front of our net, he's not tying a guy up or being physical at all. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you on that one. And his lack of foot speed is so evident right now.
Afraid to go to the sin bin?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. You can't play scared. If you're a physical presence like that, you can't play scared. You got to take the chance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just something's missing. And in training camp, that Gleason guy, he early on, I didn't think he was even close. He made a serious mistake in kind of their inter squad game, and then I'm thinking, well, okay, maybe it's you're out there with against McDavid and Draisaitl. I mean, these guys are elite. So, but then after that guy settled in, and I think he was close. I think he made them make a hard decision to send him down because I think he was close. And Vinny seemed to be kind of on the bubble of being back in the minors again. So I hope he can find it because we could use the physical guy that came up last year. It just doesn't seem like he's got that same edge.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you made a good point about Gleason. You made the same observations I did. I thought early on he was kind of seemed like a throw-in. Did we just need extra D-men bodies for camp or what? But then all of a sudden he just found his game and was made a strong case for himself. And of course we can always look at hindsight because they are struggling and Gleason was such a presence, like, they made their own decision. But at that time, I think it was the right decision. It just hasn't really panned out the way. With a lot of things we've been trying to do, it just hasn't panned out the way we were hoping it would.
Can you imagine Bo Akay if he keeps improving and seeing him on that back end in like 2 years?
My goodness,
that's a promising defenseman.
Well, my goodness, what a great camp he put in! Like for a kid like that, to come in a juniors and basically show that he belonged on that level, especially like during camp and some preseason stuff. To me, he was the surprise moment for camp for me because I could not believe how well he looked and how he didn't look out of place at all.
Yeah, no, I thought he showed really, really well and no stage fright whatsoever in like the drills they're doing and the exhibition games he played. The guy's got like tons of guts and no, I liked him.
He didn't look intimidated. He played his game. He made some great decisions on when to step up on a rush and even when to pinch. Like this was a guy who just decided he'd show up in camp and he would be the Bo Akay that they drafted. Like, I'm going to play the way you saw me play. And boy, did he ever make a statement.
Shades of Clefbaum, honestly. That's kind of where my thought process is, with probably even a little bit more of a flair to jump in the jump up but just active, good passer and good vision. And I enjoyed watching that guy go. Do we want to hear some interviews from Skinner or any of the guys? You want
You're a call. You're the man in charge.
to? All right.
People might be getting sick of our voices, though.
Yeah, let's. Oh, got a commercial first.
Are we sponsored by them? Don't run the commercial. Don't run the commercial.
Classic. And this is the Skinner cam.
Oh, we'll show it.
Ooh, Chile. How's it going?
This is his GoPro.
Yeah. What a sick setup, eh? I love the fewer throwbacks.
We should just play here for every open. Father, how'd that one go? Look at the camera. You did a great one. Yeah.
Cece's a big man, eh? He's built like a Coke machine.
I actually thought he's looked good to 3 of our last 4 games. I thought he was a little bit weak in the Minnesota game, but I've been happy with his Philly, Winnipeg, and the Ranger game.
Yeah, I'm just kind of tuning into like how big of a guy he is. He's just massive. Sorry, camera's blurry here. It's not adjusted to me yet.
Nobody has adjusted to you yet, Durza.
Yeah, I guess that happens. Oh man. So puck drop's probably going to be about 5:30. They're talking about 5 o'clock, but I kind of have my doubts.
Do you know a lot of people going into the game?
So Eric, I know from our heavy hockey is going to be there. Well, Kevin, I guess, is in our chat. He's going today.
Nice.
Yeah, a fair amount of people I think that I know will be there.
Actually, some good pregame reading would be Ryan Lotzberg just posted an article on Heavy Hockey Network.com about the kind of the origin of the Heritage Classic and some brief background. And I was reading that there, and it actually, it's all stuff we kind of know, but it still gets it's good reminders, and it gets you excited. Like I got excited after reading that. And Lottie is, he's the Einstein of these articles on our Heavy Hockey Network. Always puts out quality material. And like you mentioned, Ursa, like it all originated here in Edmonton. Like this is the start of the outdoor games. It's good to revisit back, and the fact that it's a Battle of Alberta, like all the hockey world is going to be watching this one.
Now you got me into like a beef that I have. This game should have been last night at 8 o'clock. The late game on Hockey Night in Canada. Let the province of Alberta totally let loose and don't compete against the NFL, and make it what it should be. A whole weekend. I think it was Morgan Ladler. Talked about the Golden Bears and Pandas, and I would add the Grant McEwen Griffins and Nate. And you could go down to like AAA midget or something, or some of the junior A teams in the area. Have everybody play, make a full weekend of it. I think what you need to do is ensure that the ice is at a professional level for the NHL team. So you do that game first to make sure that goes off without a hitch. But a full weekend of it, or make it on Thanksgiving weekend where you've got the extra day too, so you can ensure that everything's just golden for the big game, and promote the hell out of it. And that's the way it should go. It originated here, but it seems like the Stadium Series and the Winter Classics get a lot more hype and attention, and I don't think that's fair, and I don't think it's smart. we have the best 2 players in the game. If you can't use them to grow your game, then you're doing something wrong.
Well, having said that, though, ESPN is showing more Oilers games this year than they did last year.
Yeah, no, US TV content is following McDavid, but they aren't for this.
Yeah, so that's kind of weird. So you bring up a good point, though, because I actually thought one of the reasons why they weren't playing it on Saturday was the fact they didn't want to compete against all the other NHL games. But you do bring up a good point about them competing against the NFL. And so that is going to take a lot of viewership away, definitely.
The other thing I'll say is I've been told TNT actually in the States is covering it, but you are going up against NFL on today. So,
and the whole focus of the NHL has been to sell the game to the States. And the reason why, like, I know a lot of us Canadians feel slighted by that, but Bettman knows the NHL sells in Canada. We don't need to focus on Canada because it's always going to be there. It's always growing here in Canada. So that's never going to die. And the money, honestly, is in the States. So to getting the American audience involved, American TV deals, it's all about selling the game there. I understand what they're doing with that. And I understand why they don't show a lot of Canadian teams because, a lot of Americans aren't invested in the Canadian teams. Having said that, though, yeah, who does want to watch McDavid fly down the ice, right? Yeah. And ESPN has noted that, and then they picked up some more games this year, Oilers games at least.
It's hard to argue with, like a 350 million population in the States too. I mean,
it is. I see the numbers. I know what they're doing. I understand it. And then, like, all us Canadians will always be there, regardless. Like, even when I remember when they had the lockout, and everybody was talking about how, I'm not going to watch this game. They're a bunch of just babies asking for more money. And I was pissed off at lockout too, obviously, because I'm such a diehard hockey fan. I want to watch the games and all that stuff. But I also knew that I'll be back. Like, it sucks they're out. I'm pissed off at them for having us locked out and we're not playing. But there's no way I'm not going to get back watching. And they kicked me in the nuts, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get back up and watch you guys anyways.
Just one sec, Bob. I'm going to see if I can get Kevin on the phone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We got the call-out show today.
Terrible driver. How are you doing that?
He's driving to the rink right now.
I'm watching. I guess I wasn't watching the live part of the stream.
Oh, I want you to enjoy today, my man, and hopefully they can win a hockey game for you. I know you were at the last one and it didn't go so well, but I have a feeling today's going to be a different story.
Yeah, I think so too. I had a good feeling about McDavid there, and there's a lot of pressure, and there's 68,000 people watching him, right? So.
Yeah, just seeing him skate around yesterday, I think he's got the juices flowing, and I think it'll be a hell of a hockey game for you. So.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Well, once again, it sucks that I couldn't meet up with you while I was down here, but one of these days, buddies.
You betcha. All right. Enjoy your time, and we will talk to you later.
Sounds good, buddy. Appreciate the thoughts.
Okay, bye.
Cheers.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We got the call-out show.
Yeah. Okay, now call Woodcroft.
Enough about Woodcroft, or
no? Now call Woody so we can talk to him too.
Yeah, we're going to tell him what lines to run. I can show a little promo on the Heritage Classic here from the NHL, I guess, too. I'll go to that.
The way we communicate has changed.
After I get rid of a commercial again.
To play an outdoor game in Edmonton at Commonwealth, the 20th anniversary of the last one. To play Calgary, it's super special.
We are taking this rivalry outdoor. The battle is intense already here inside, so I can't wait to see it outdoors.
I remember the last one, it being freezing cold, and seeing players out there, and I know they're having a ton of fun.
Playing against Edmonton, the fans are hyped, and I think the players as well. And shoots. Bring on the Battle of Alberta.
All right.
You get fired enough for a Battle of Alberta game. You get fired enough for an outdoor game. So the combination of this two is just like it's borderline epic.
I don't know if we'll be seeing people's breath today, but that sure looks cool. And they all had like the balaclavas and Jose Theodore, as Lotzi said in his article, sporting the toque and starting like a whole trend for outdoor hockey, kind of with the toque underneath your mask.
What's an iconic image from the outdoor game for sure? It's probably the most iconic image of the outdoor game. It's Theodore with his toque on there. So what? All this now. What's your prediction?
Yeah. It doesn't, these ones don't ever seem to be like, an old fashioned barn burner 7-8 hockey games, but I wonder if it'll be different. Like ice conditions sometimes play a role and keep games a little bit low scoring, but I don't know. It's hard for me to think that we're going to lose a hockey game in front of 50,000 people. I just think the spectacle of that is going to bring out the best in McDavid and Draisaitl, and Darnell Nurse seems to play really well in outdoor games too. Like he scored a big one in Winnipeg, and it seems to ignite these guys.
It's a pretty small sample size, though.
Yeah, I guess, but it's all we got, so I'm going with it. I think we're gonna win today. I'm gonna say 4-1.
Oh, that's my prediction. No way. Yeah, I had the same prediction, 4-1, and for the exact same reasons that you said. I also I think they're just so pumped and positive for this game right now. Like this is what we need. Like we mentioned before, it's the right time for it. You factor in that this is also a pivotal moment already. Like to kind of right this ship before things get too sour. The importance of it, the fun aspect of it, the 50,000 fans part of it, McDavid's back part of it. Like, yeah, 4-1. That's my score too.
We've got 3 days off between the next one too.
Yeah, and the next one. Who's the next one?
So our next game is Thursday next
Dallas.
week.
Yeah, Dallas, and that's going to be a test because so we need some momentum going into that one because Dallas is they are a powerhouse this year.
Yeah, no, and you've got that much time to rest up for your next game, so no reason to leave anything out there today. And really, there needs to be that kind of attitude for every game now. They got some work to do to claw back to kind of respectability, and I think today's a good time to start.
How cool would it be to see in the outdoor game now all of a sudden added a storyline where they what's this man-to-man defense?
Yeah. I wonder. I know the decision to revert back to what they did has to be coming soon. I don't know if it's today, but they can't let it get too far away, and they can't give any reason, to keep sliding. So that would be interesting. I would say if they drop today, for sure they got to get out of it. But
well, the weird thing is, leading up to the last two games, the new system had, I guess, only broken down for one goal against. The other ones were mistakes or turnovers off a rush and what have you. So the last two games, though, the Minnesota and the Rangers ones, especially the Minnesota one, I think they scored, 3 or 4 because we broke down defensively while we were set up.
Well, the one that really, really comes to mind is the 5th goal for Minnesota, where the play is behind the net. Nuge starts chasing the guy, hits the brakes, bails out, pass comes out. Nurse takes the guy that got the pass, and nobody takes the guy from behind the net, and he's got all day to roof it. Yeah. And there's nothing our goalie can do about it. Not from there. It's top of the crease. So, and I think about that play, and you're not in trouble if Nuge stays with them.
Yeah.
I think you are in trouble if Nurse takes that guy, because then the guy that just received the pass has Nurse basically as a screen at the side of the net to use. And I don't think Nuge leaving gives Nuge enough time to go to the guy that received the pass, because he's got to skate all the way around the net to get to him. So that either exposed a flaw in the zone or a failure in the zone. And I think one thing that definitely needs to change if they're going to stick with it is guys got to communicate for sure. And they have to be talking. Like, if you're going to abandon ship on a man and somebody's going to think you have him, that's a breakdown. Nurse had he was facing the guy behind the net when it all started. And I think the reason he was doing that is because Campbell slightly lost the guy too in his vision. So if there's a quick wraparound, he's got to be cognizant of that to help his goalie, kind of to guard the post. So, and it made me think that maybe that's why Gretzky set up his office behind the net too, is to, one, confuse goalies as to where's he going. He set up more plays than he made wraparounds from back there too. Just, it creates like a good screen, really, because it's hard for anybody to see through the net, see exactly where the puck is, and know what's going on. And once you get moving to take him, he's got the net to use to get around you. So yeah, that part there seemed to really expose kind of a flaw in the system, and a breakdown for sure. That one sticks clear in my mind, and I don't know what the proper remedy really of it is, other than I think if Nuge is going to go towards that guy and actually engage, that you got to stay with him, and either you forget about zone defense and you just play man to man and stick with him. Because you can use the net as his shield and screen, and you get burnt.
So that was the most extreme example of one of that zone breakdown. For sure.
Yeah.
I also thought, though, like this last game, the Rangers really exposed our susceptibility to that cross ice pass. Now, I'm wondering, was that actually a byproduct of our defensive zone setup, or is it just something simple as our guys just not getting the sticks in the lane at all in those moments?
I went through that game because I had a men's league game that night and watched it afterwards. And the one play, Nurse ended up on his wrong side. He was on the right side. And I don't think it was because of a breakdown sort of in their defensive system. I think it all started in the neutral zone, and that's where a lot of their problems seem to originate. I don't think I'm a fan at all of this sort of 1-1-3 kind of neutral zone system. I think that's where we've really shit the bed in terms of trying to change too much. I kind of like the idea of this team being sort of a 2-1-2 kind of forecheck team, or send one guy do like a 1-2-2 kind of system. I like the idea, though, of this team playing a two-man forecheck, and you might even almost want to change your forecheck depending on line to line, who you've got out there, how good of skaters they are, and honestly, how good of checkers they are. I don't think you want an all-out pursuit kind of forecheck, but definitely a pressured game to cause turnovers, because this team is lethal off the rush. I don't think we're a San Jose Sharks kind of post up, kind of behind the net sort of team. I mean, we can do it at times, but I don't think that's our go-to or should be our go-to. I think we have to play to our strengths, and I think our strengths are more off the attack.
Michael Hebert brings up from Oilers Live brings up this point quite often, and I think he's right about this. As we need to do something defensively, because we weren't the greatest defensive team last year. We had the most goals against from all the Western teams that made the playoffs. So, and some of our defensive miscues kind of showed up in the playoffs periodically at bad moments. So there had to be something done, but I don't think we needed a drastic overhaul, like Michael was saying, because after we picked up Ekholm, like what was our record down the stretch? Like we got that much better even defensively.
Yeah.
So
No, they went on a tear.
they went on tear. So some tweaking needed to be done, but I don't like the overhaul. And we discussed this on our preseason preview as well. How we were thinking about this new system, they might implement that more towards the later end of the game when they go into shutdown mode to try and hold on to a lead, which is kind of, I guess, what we were kind of hoping we'd see. But the fact they're trying to use it for 60 minutes and it's only been working for 22 minutes per game. Yeah. How long before you consider, maybe this isn't our strength, maybe this isn't for us?
Yeah, I don't know. I analyzed the playoffs, and I just think that we were a little undisciplined,
We
and
still are.
yeah, and we weren't getting the saves, and
We still aren't.
yeah. Do we need a whole new neutral zone, scheme and a whole new defensive scheme? I don't know. And the other thing I think about too is I don't think we were really all that healthy. I think we had, Kane, Hyman, probably Nuge banged up, and that's a large portion of our offense, and I think that reared its ugly head.
Yeah, but so having said that, you go in the playoffs and everybody's playing hurt at that point. You got crucial players, but so what's our excuse this year? Are we all hurt again?
Yeah, I just think Vegas was more healthy, and I think it does play a role.
Vegas definitely had more defensive depth too. They're much more solid that way. I think again now for this season, I don't think the Oilers need a major overhaul. Yeah, this record is horrible to look at and caught everybody off guard, including the Oilers. So I think even a simple thing like going back to our original D zone setup, something like that it's something that the guys are familiar with. There's a comfort level with it. Maybe a small move like that gets our confidence back in our zone, and then we're firing on cylinders again. And from there, we start trajectorying upwards. I think it might be. I think that might be all we need for a little switch, the flick of the switcher to see what comes of it.
Are you seeing like a problem of getting out of our own end at all?
Well, not when we keep it simple. Like I actually thought like a Kulak last game. I thought played really well. Might have been our best order. In fact, he definitely was our best D-man, and he simplified his game. Like he must have been a 6 or 7 times where he just chipped the puck off the boards into the neutral zone. And about 5 of those times in order, it was the guy that picked it up in there. When we start forcing passes, I think that's where we start getting a little bit desperate, and then we're turning it over. Again, Bouchard, I thought, made a great adjustment last game too. He kept his game pretty simple last game as well. If we simplify it to start, then we should be okay.
Just see if there's anything fresh here.
And CC is probably our most, at the risk of this sounding like a shot, he's probably our most simple D-man, because when he's on his game, he does keep things simple. And like I said, the last 3 of the last 4 games, I thought he'd been really good. And one of how you know he's playing really good is you don't really notice him that much because he's not making big mistakes, but he's never really been a big offensive guy, so you won't see him step up in the rush that often. But if he keeps it simple in front of the net, wins those board battles and just chips it off the boards like he's been doing those last few games, that's the Cody Ceci that we need.
I can't remember which game it was, if it was the last one or the Minnesota game. I think it was the Minnesota game. I think it was almost on one shift. He had 3 reads that were not good, and Nurse had to like cover him. I like it when he's not thinking so much about pinch, and just kind of be a classic Charlie Huddy stay-at-home defenseman. I think he can play that role pretty well. I'll do this Oilers today here. A little clip. And maybe I'll make sure it's not a commercial first.
Sounds of hockey have invaded Commonwealth Stadium for what is going to be one of the most anticipated events on the NHL calendar, and everyone is ready for what is bound to be an incredibly special day.
And speaking of ready, Paige, Oilers captain Connor McDavid participated in his first full skate since suffering an injury, and by all accounts, according to the captain himself, all things trending in the right direction leading up to the 5 p.m. puck drop on Sunday night.
I hate missing games, period. Whether or not this game was played indoors or outdoors, it would be something I was pushing for. So, I hate missing games, and sitting out two is not something that's fun. I think as athletes, your availability to the team and being able to play day in and day out is something that, is very important. It's your job, something that I take very seriously. So, being available is important to me.
I don't know if he's playing or not. I can't give you that answer, but obviously if he's in, he's the best player in the world, and he has been for I don't know how many years. So he's going to give us something that you can't replace that. If he's in, we're obviously very excited.
And Connor McDavid was joined by Leon Draisaitl and Warren Foegele on the team's top line for Saturday afternoon skate here at Commonwealth Stadium. Just a nod at how well number 37 is playing, as he has 4 points in the team's opening 7 games.
You talk about our group and a lot of guys not getting off to a good start. He's not been one of them. He's gotten off to a great start. Looks great. It's been dangerous every single game. Shooting the puck with lots of confidence, making plays. So he's somebody that is opening up a lot of ice for his line mates, and somebody that I'm excited to play with.
And while it hasn't been the start that this team was hoping for, they're ready to use this frustration and channel it as fuel heading in to the Battle of Alberta.
We all live it. We're all in it with everything we have, right? I think that's what a lot of people maybe don't understand. You think about it all day, every day. You're in it with everything you have, and when it doesn't go your way, I think it's human nature to show frustration every once in a while. And another part I think that's maybe frustrating is that, like Nuggy said, we play 40 minutes well, or we play a good period, and then the next 10 minutes in the second period, I don't know, it's a lull or whatever you want to call it. And I think that's where the frustration kicks in a little bit too, because we don't usually have that as much in the last couple of years. So, but we'll be better, and trying to get those little moments out of our game.
Well, let's drop the puck on the 2023 Heritage Classic.
Here we go. For Oilers TV, I'm Tony Brar.
And I'm Paige Martin.
Stay warm, Oil Country.
That's something else, I guess. Janmark in a sling the other day. That's curious to me. I mean, he's in the lineup today. Myself, I'm not putting a sling on unless I got something broken.
Oh no, not necessarily broken thing. It could be just a muscle strain where you don't want hanging or like that, put extra weight on it. But yeah, it's little. You see him in a sling, and the next thing you know, you see him. He's in the lineup for today. I'm like, well, I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
So my biggest concern, I think, with everybody when it comes to McDavid playing now, like I don't want him playing just because the outdoor game, right?
Right.
But having said that, though, a 60% McDavid is still the best player in the world, probably. So he makes us better. But my goodness, we can't afford for him to get into a corner and corkscrewing somewhere and re-aggravating that injury, and we lose him for a 2-week spell, right?
I mean,
these conditions aren't ideal. Outdoor conditions aren't ideal to play in either.
Usually games against Calgary are ones where there's nowhere to hide. I mean, people are running and gunning to make an impact and lay a lick whenever they can. And I'm imagining, this big spectacle, it might even be ramped up even more. So I hope there's nothing lingering there.
The Flames are going to try it. They're going to body him. They know he's just coming back from the injury, and they know he's coming back sooner than he probably should be coming back, right? And it's
Yeah,
going to be noticeable when he's lining up at the wing. Like, okay, well, McDavid, 100% healthy McDavid doesn't line up at the wing.
and yeah, and I think if Dr. Mike Dursa figures it's either a abdominal strain or a back issue, they know what areas to target too. So, um, yeah, no, I appreciate your concern, and I'm of the opinion that playing in this will be great for the fans and all that, and possibly help the team today. But I don't want to see him re-aggravate something that affects the big prize, the thing we're all hoping that can happen at the end of the year. In saying that, they need to start winning some hockey games
Yeah.
to be able to claw back to respectability and have something to build on and move
I
forward.
just wonder if he'd be playing if this was an indoor game.
Yeah, and I hope you're right. I hope they aren't just putting him in the lineup just because it's an outdoor game and to give him the experience and all that. I hope it's he's medically capable of handling the rigors of an NHL hockey game and not just putting him out there just because.
I guess we'll see. We'll see in about 3 hours' time.
I agree with you fully. I am interested to see him on left wing, and I wonder if that'll be a whole game or just to see how he's going and see how he's feeling, and then moving him into center. But I don't know. I like the prospect of him being a left winger. I'm not going to lie. You dropping the anchor and letting him go just intrigues me fully.
Well, I like the prospect of McDavid just being on the ice. And like I said, a 60% McDavid is probably still going to be a game changer as long as we don't lose him then for the 60% of the year.
I mean, if you've green lighted him to, okay, Leon's got the puck, go. He's at the red line before Leon looks up. I mean, it's going to be a track meet. And he looked like he had his legs yesterday. He looked like he had that same jump. So I'm interested. Very poor Fogle trying to keep up.
I don't think it was the skating that was causing the issues. Like if it is an oblique thing, it'll be more like maybe some stick handling or sharp turns or that sort of stuff, or especially any kind of battles in the on the boards or what have you. So
well, yeah, and just like I think digging for pucks on draws too, that hard kind of pullback move could. Yeah, I mean that was my initial thought was because I seen him grab around kind of his almost kidney areas and back, and to me that does signal an oblique strain. That's kind of what my gut tells me. I mean,
but he has shown a fortitude for healing quickly and like that whole leg thing they did just a few years ago was almost miraculous the way he came back from that and didn't even miss a step really. So
yeah,
like similar to Evander Kane, like he heals pretty quickly too, even though his wrist was still bothering to some degree through the rest of the playoffs or regular season playoffs last year. He still was pretty, a pretty big contributor.
What do you think of back-to-back fights from Kane?
You know what? I think it shows. I think Woodcroft was right. It shows that he's engaged. He likes the passion because he has been struggling offensively. One of the things we expect from him is offense, and it hasn't been happening. So he's finding other ways to engage, to be part of the game, hoping that the offense will come as a byproduct of it. So I like his step up. I like a guy who's recognized the fact that like I am not being the Evander Kane that the Oilers need me to be. So I got to start contributing in some way and hoping the rest of the game will come. And I think it's shitty. I think he's probably been our worst forward probably so far. And that's more to do with him not really reaching his expectations that we have of him.
I'm a little disappointed with Derek Ryan, to be honest.
Ryan hasn't been good, but you can put a lot of guys on that list.
Yeah. No, he hasn't really contributed much. I mean, Ernie's the same way, but Derek Ryan, I think, has some talent. And yeah.
Actually, I forgot about Ernie. You're right. I'm going to backtrack and say I think Ernie's been our worst forward so far, but Kane has not been.
He hasn't been himself, that's for sure. No. Yeah. But, a couple of scraps and then some points start to happen for him. And yeah. The training camp and all that, he's got some pop back in his shot. That snapshot looked good, and his wristers, and so I think that's encouraging. And to see him fight in back-to-back games tells me the wrist is starting to feel better. Otherwise, he wouldn't be engaging in that.
I did think the Minnesota game, he was that's been his best game by a good margin so far this season. I thought actually he was probably the best Oiler that game. With the fight, and he was producing. That was a Gordie Howe hot trick, right? But he was all over the place. He played well in the defensive zone too. He won a couple of key puck battles there, especially on the blue line, on the boards. So he really seemed to be that seemed to be the Evander Kane that was ready to step up.
I think he's at his best when he's in a bad mood.
And maybe struggling offensively got him in that bad mood, because the last couple of games he's been leading our team in hits, obviously fights, right? So he's being a presence.
Got some comments from Jay from yesterday if you want.
I think we're at an hour already there, Durso.
Yeah, it's 8 minutes, so I'll leave it alone. Are you good? Do you want to call her a day and go and enjoy this, or you want to
I'm ready to enjoy this. I'm also starving. I haven't had lunch yet, so other than that, but I'm so pumped for this. I'm hyped. I'm with you. I think this is going to be a turning point now in this first 10-game segment. This might be the game that we're going to need momentum to face Dallas. That's for damn sure. And it's 2 points, 4-1. We're on the same page, sirs.
Yeah. If you haven't yet, and you want some light reading before the game, like Bob said earlier, Lotzi came out with a fresh article about today and looking back at the first one of these that we did. It's a good one. It's short and sweet. Lots of good content coming out by Lotzi. Bobby just had an article as well. Eric's been writing. I need to get the pen back and get after it. I was gonna write one on our defensive structure, but still might. See how today goes. Tomorrow we'll be back on 8:00 Monday Night Raw to recap today, and I'm not sure if Jill is gonna attend, or we'll look at that in the coming weeks. Don't think her baby is 100% yet, so I might just let her be. But we'll recap the game and look to the week ahead. Thanks everybody for watching. If you can hit the like button on YouTube, that helps the algorithm, and subscribe to us there, and Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, any of those places you can find us. Haven't heard from Chad, so I'm not sure what's going on in his world, but I'm sure he'll be back to chat at some point. Thanks, everybody, and have a good day. Keep your sticks on the ice. Keep reaching for the stars, and let's win a fucking hockey game today. Go Oilers, go. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Enjoy this one.